Good for them though. I think most of us might have actually preferred if the Warriors won, but I don't think anyone should be disappointed that the Grizzlies won. Um, but yeah, no, Ja, the electrifying player that can really do big things for you when it matters. So yeah, no, definitely entertaining though. I like Ja a lot more now, to be honest with you, because he put on one heck of performance and he did it that just wasn't enough. But this year, I mean, holy crap, everyone was really good. If you look at this, in my opinion, I think you really do see a playoff team. I mean, they got defenders everywhere, and they're pretty solid offensively. I think it's just that Steph Curry is just so freaking good, But yeah, no, I think this team for the Jazz, I feel like they're gonna cause a lot of trouble, honestly, because I don't know, it's gonna be crazy seeing them down low when I mean, I feel like Jonas will still get his on Gobert, and I feel like Triple J and Ja and stuff like that. I feel like they can really do great things for them for their team against the Jazz.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, no, obviously the Warriors have the best player in Stephen Curry and some good players and, great in Draymond and good in Wiggins. But if you remove the two best players, that being Ja and Steph, you would probably take the Grizzlies roster. Like, they have a better roster and team than the Warriors.
Definitely would, yeah.
Just in a one-game setting, you're obviously going to take Curry over pretty much anyone, unless it's like LeBron and AD. Even
yeah.
Because, we saw what happened there. The Grizzlies started the game on a 12-0 run. Ja hit two early threes. Like, they were leaving him wide open, and he hit those two shots. The Warriors had a crap ton of turnovers, man. Turnovers killed them because every time they would get back in the game, they would turn the ball over, it seemed like, 2 times in a row. Or, like, Bazemore missed a ton of shots, wide open shots. Draymond, he got going in the fourth and the third a little bit, but it just seemed like no one besides Curry and Jordan Poole could really buy a bucket for him.
Yeah, tons of turnover and fouls too. There were quite a bit of fouls in this game on the Warriors side. Because I mean, honestly, it's like you saw guys like Juan Toscano-Anderson, like he seemed like a good player that knew his role. But he just kind of looked like it looked like he was just trying to do too much, honestly. This is one pass in particular to Steph, and I think it was a backdoor, and it was, it got stolen. It's just like, well, he probably shouldn't be making that, because I mean, this game, that one possession could have really helped them at the end of the, could have really helped them in this game. I mean, they just didn't know it yet, but it's just like, they gotta keep their guys in line.
Yeah, no, the Grizzlies had 13 turnovers as well. The Warriors had 21, and it was 13 of their turnovers were from Curry and Draymond Green. Draymond Green really had some careless passes. Same with Curry today. Some of them were players not stepping up to go get the ball or kind of not being in the right spot, lack of experience and whatnot. But it was kind of surprising to see like how many Curry dribbled it off his knee once in the third quarter and had some usually passes he makes very easy, get jumped or just kind of carelessly flipped it over to people that weren't really in a good position to catch the ball. Same with Draymond, who they both usually make great decisions, so it was kind of weird.
They just played yesterday. He played out of his mind yesterday. And so I can understand if he's tired or sore or whatever, because it's, he played such an intense game yesterday, and he played such an intense game today. Draymond, on the other hand, I mean, we know Draymond is one of the smartest players in the league. His IQ is just insane, and so it really sucked seeing him not look that way at all for stretches of that time.
Yeah, no, it really it was a weird game from the Warriors. I would expect more. Draymond didn't have a bad game by any means. He had a triple-double, which I didn't realize until looking at now at the box score. 1 for 1 from the three-point line. He had some clutch buckets down the stretch, but I think some of the Curry turnovers are more excusable than Draymond, just because Draymond was kind of getting to wherever he wants. They were really letting him in the middle of the paint. He was kind of being able to dictate it if he wanted to dump it off to Wiggins in the dunker spot, or Kevon Looney, who can't seem to make a layup anymore or do anything. He gets some rebounds and plays hard, I guess. But Curry was just being double teamed all game. Dylan Brooks is harassing him all game, fouling him, but borderline, he was roughing him up and whatnot. So I guess good for the Grizzlies. It is hard to beat a team 2 times in a row, within a short span. So it kind of was like a playoff series in a sense, I guess, for them, even though they wouldn't play different teams, but. It seems like the Grizzlies were well prepared for what the Warriors were going to throw at them and do, and the Warriors didn't really seem to make any adjustments.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, I'm not too worried for the Warriors. Now we know how dangerous. I mean, we've known actually how dangerous Steph and Draymond are. So once Clay comes back, because I feel like people have been underrating Clay lately. As the because. He's one of the most insane players in the league, in my opinion. When he's on fire, when he catches heat, I think he's actually like the greatest scorer of all time when he's on the Heat, honestly, because he just can't miss, and not in the way that Kobe did it or MJ did it, because he does it with threes and barely dribbling. So, next year, gosh, it's gonna be insane watching this Warrior.
Oh, no doubt. It'll be fun to have Clay back. And we've talked about it before. I think we both think they'll make some moves and they'll be really fun. And, they were really fun this year. I think we all were hoping they would make the playoffs. But I'm not disappointed by Memphis making the playoffs one bit, because I think we're both really like Memphis and what they are doing. They have a really, really bright future. They've really drafted well. You saw it with guys like Xavier Tillman coming in today. And playing big minutes, because Valanciunas and Jaren Jackson Jr. were in foul trouble, and he came in, hit some threes, played hard defense. He did a really good job on Draymond, actually, while he was out there, was rebounding and whatnot. He hit that big corner 3 in the 4th, so good to see their young guys get out there and play well. Grayson Allen hit 2 back-to-back threes, big time. That pretty much sealed the deal almost. Kyle Anderson, an older player, but was great defensively, kind of does it all for him. So they've really done a good job of drafting and bringing in free agents and whatnot.
Yeah, drafting especially, it's so weird how under the radar they usually are. Because honestly, it's like I said earlier, this team is just full of defenders. They got a defender, they got a pretty good defender every single position, which is pretty insane, honestly. And their backups too. That they can throw in every single position. Because if if you're having trouble with Ja or whatever, it's you can just throw D'Anthony Melton in there, and stuff like so. It's just insane, honestly. I feel like they got one of the best benches in the NBA, honestly. It's just so much of everything, Grayson Allen, he surprised me, honestly, because it had been a while since I heard anything about him, because I know he was a big time college player, and he's had some trouble here in the pros, but tonight though I think he really showed up in overtime, and it was awesome. So yeah, super excited to see what this Memphis Grizzlies team can do in the playoffs. I do have the Jazz beating them, but I wouldn't be too surprised if it's a 6 or even 7 game series.
I agree. I think Memphis can compete with the Jazz for sure, especially saying it's probably a good time to catch Utah, saying Donovan Mitchell hasn't played 18 games or something like that, 17, 18 games. His first games back will be playoff games. And maybe we are overreacting a bit, and maybe the Grizzlies will be more tired and worn out than we think. I don't know if they'll win the first game, just because that might be tough. They'll be traveling to Utah pretty much tonight probably, and then playing on Sunday. So that's a pretty quick turnaround. And, obviously Utah is packing in the fans there and the elevation and whatnot. So that will definitely be a tough place to play in. But I think they could steal a game or 2 as well with you.
Yeah, no, that definitely. But yeah, it's just the thing is though, we were talking about the Warriors and how great they're gonna be next year, but we gotta remember this Grizzlies team is so young, so we gotta keep in mind that this team will also probably be better next year as well.
Yeah, no kidding. And I probably would have preferred, having Curry in there just to be able to watch him more, but I would have felt bad the Grizzlies missing out on the playoffs 2 times in a row because of the play-in and whatnot. Even though they were the 9 seed this year, they were the 8 until the bubble last year. But it's good to see them get in, because they really have been surprisingly good these last couple of years.
Yeah, no, these last two especially, this is a team that was supposed to be the 8th seed 2 times in a row with no contention, but because of the bubble and other circumstances, they're forced to defend the right to be the 8th seed, so yeah, congrats to them though. They definitely deserved it. I just if Jaren Jackson Jr., if he can fix all of his fouling issues and some rebounding issues, I could very well see them honestly beating the Jazz.
Yeah, they have the talent. Like Valanciunas can definitely go at Gobert, and you wouldn't have any concern there. I think definitely Triple J is the biggest wild card in this series, in my opinion. What are you going to get from him? And it is tough to say because today was his 12th game of the year, I believe.
So, yeah, it's something small. Yeah.
But he can definitely do it. He has the talent and whatnot. And I think eventually you would like him to be able to play center. I just, as of right now, you don't see it. So that kind of does suck.
Yeah, no, he's rebounding. It's so weird because he's a 7-footer, like 6'11", something, basically a 7-footer. And so it is unfortunate this guy really can't get more than like 7 rebounds a night, which is kind of hard to believe, honestly, because he is like, he is big and strong, and he's so big and he's so tall. So it's like, this guy's a modern day center, but his inability to rebound and his fouling issue just stops him.
Yeah, you hit it on perfectly. It's not like he's like Porzingis, a super skinny guy. He's very strong, well built. He's like 7'7", 6'11", like you're saying. Definitely the modern day center that can stretch the floor. He can be a rim running big when healthy and whatnot. So it is unfortunate that they'll definitely try it out at some point, and we'll see if it happens or not, because it would always suck to have like a not that Valanciunas is bad, but just the way the NBA is going and whatnot, he is the perfect modern day 5 that you would always have to stick a traditional, 5 out there just to anchor the defense and offense because he can't rebound and do certain things defensively.
Yeah, and you know what though, offensively, in my opinion, defensively, I think he can do everything, honestly. He's great. This guy is amazing on the perimeter, and he's really great in the post. I feel like if he was just a little bit more consistent, because with injuries and whatnot, though, he would be in that same conversation with Bam. As one of the few centers that can really guard all 5 positions. I remember about last year, I said that Jaren Jackson Jr. had the potential to be the greatest defender of all time, and I still do believe he has the potential. But there's just a lot of things I feel like he can quite easily fix that just haven't really been improved upon.
No, you've hit on it perfectly. One of his biggest things, I think, last year, he was like 3rd in total fouls. So
he fouled so much. Yeah,
he got in foul trouble tonight. It seems like every big game, or not even big game, I should say. It seems like every game he's typically in foul trouble. So that's why his minutes are less than they should be. He wasn't even really out there because of foul trouble, and then they were kind of playing pretty well without him, so they didn't put him back in there.
Yeah, and that's a shame because he's honestly, it must be so frustrating for coaches, right? Like getting a big man, right, and being like, we don't have to teach him to shoot or anything like that, but we have to get him to like become a better rebounder, or like or to not foul as much, stuff that centers are usually pretty good about, because it's usually just shooting that that they have to work on. So that must be so. That must be kind of annoying, honestly, to the coaching staff.
Oh, I could only imagine how annoying it'd be. And then I'd like to move back over to John Morant, who shot it well tonight and looked great in pick and roll. Had the floater game going, shot 14 of 29 from the field and 5 of 10 from 3, which is insane. I didn't think this year he would have especially in a big game, have a game where he shot 10 3-pointers and made 5 of them. So that was very impressive to me.
Yeah, if Ja can really unlock that 3-pointer, holy crap, he'll be like a 22 point per game guy, 25 or whatever with like 7 assists. He'll be like one of the better point guards in the league, if he can really do that.
He averages 17 already by just
Yeah.
purely driving and whatnot. He hit some big buckets in overtime, getting that floater game going. It's kind of funny. It's like the opposite. He makes his floaters so tough because he's going to his left and always falling backwards and like doing little Euro steps in the lane. So it's some big time shots. So it was very impressive.
No, yeah, I agree. It's like really weird too because it's like he seems much like a De'Aaron Fox and stuff. Except I think John Morant's ceiling is higher, but it's just like, man, like you really like if you can really get that 3-point shot going, you'll get easily get more assists and more points, and you'll just that will easily get them a few more wins, every year, to the point where they don't have to fight for the A seed, but more for like they'll probably be like in a comfortable like 7 seed, 6 seed some years.
No, I would agree. I think he has stability and that it will happen. Just saying, we've talked about this a few times this week. Even he has a good-looking shot, in my opinion. Like he doesn't shoot it, and I go instantly, oh, no chance. I don't think that yet. And
Yeah.
maybe just based on if you look at his percentages and you're watching every night, you could be like, probably not. But if you've never watched and you know what a good-looking shot looks like, then you would be like, okay, maybe he's just off today or whatever. But he just hasn't quite gotten there. I think he will. It seems like it will definitely be a focal point of his, or you would hope at least it would be a focal point of his off season for many years to come, until he's shooting a higher percentage and at a better clip and whatnot.
Yeah, no. At least he's not like, in my opinion, like a Kyle Kuzma, a guy whose shot looks actually like perfect, So yeah, at least he still has more room to improve there, and I think it will do him really well. So yeah, the future is bright. Honestly, seeing this game, it's really weird because here we have a team led by 2 veterans, that've been in the league for like 10 years, and we're waiting. We're kind of waiting for them to get better because we know they definitely will get better. And it's crazy seeing this really young team because we know they're going to get better too. So it's the NBA is so talented, man.